Let's look at the ground bait mix that I'm going to be using today. Super Black. I'll explain more in a minute why I'm using Super Black. It's a bit of secret because it's a good binder to use, good binding agent. And being as it's quite deep down there, that'll sort of keep the ground bait sort of fed. When I'm sort of throwing it in the air in the balls, it'll keep it nice and tight together. And then to pack it out a bit, the good old brown crumb, which the bream and skimmers tench like, so that's always a good one to use. And this is the mix, and you'll see I've got some casters and I've got some dead red maggots in there. And the reason why I'm using sort of the dead reds like that is that live maggots, so they wriggle around, they'll break down the balls of ground bait. So, you know, like you make them up, like sort of under match conditions, you'll make them all up, get them all ready. And if they're live and moving around, they'll break the balls down. Before you know it, there's a bit of a mess. So, always put dead reds in there. Fish love them all the same. In fact, you use a lot of my fishing with dead red maggots anyway. And a nice big handful of caster. Always put the caster in at the last possible moment before you start to fish, because otherwise the air will get to them and they'll go sort of light or dark brown and they'll start floating, which is no good. So that will be ideal. Okay, so put them in, give them a good old mix up, and that's the sort of the size of balls that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to put sort of 4 of them in to kick off with. So I'm just going to make another 2 up, and then you see me showing how to drop them into the peg. Right, I've mixed up the ground bait balls, and now I'm going to introduce them into the peg. So, and what I've done to make life a bit easier for myself, I've used my cupping kit on the end, and that's going to be like a target for me. So let's get cracking. Let's get these fish on the feed. So I'll just lay the target area down as such. And then I'm looking to sort of get sort of a rough sort of area. I don't want them all on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be fishing 2 lines today. One at about 12 metres, which is right down the middle of the river, and that's where my 4 balls of ground bait are going to go in at the start. And then I'm also going to fish a close inline at roughly about 5 metres, because you can pick up some real bonus eels, and it's done me well over the past 2 or 3 years picking up eels, and they've done me well in matches, and so they're always a bonus fish, you know. And when you fish rivers like this, you need to try and find the bonus fish. So you sort of, after a while, you get like a plan of attack in your mind and how you're going to approach your matches. And like I say, so my 4 balls of ground bait down the middle, and this is the baits that I'm going to be using to feed what I'm going to call today my eel line. I will catch other fish on it, hopefully, but you know, and then I'll give it a couple of hours of feeding, trickling it in. Lots of chopped worm, some chopped maggot with a bit of caster in as well. And then I'll give it a couple of hours. I'll hopefully enjoy myself catching lots of bream and skimmers and roach and maybe the odd tench on the long line. And then I'll have a little sneaky look over the eel line and see if there's a few there waiting for us. So, worms, always bring loads and loads of worms down. Dendrobina worms, probably about the best one to use. And then I'll chop all that up, and then I'll have also maggots as well, which I'll chop up as well. Give them they sort of give off quite a strong scent. When you chop them up, it's all the ammonia comes out, and that probably attracts all the eels into the peg, and it sort of sends down a right sort of red cloudy maggoty mix. So no wonder the eels love it. Good old chop up, give them a good slushy mix. As you can see, I've got the tools to do it as well. Great big chopping worm shears. And that's the chopped up worm, and then what I'll do, I'll add some caster in there, mix it all around, and then I'll cut that out straight over my eel line. Now I'm chopping the red maggots up to create a nice slushy mix. Good bait for eels these, they do like them, all chopped up. And then when you cup them out, they send a nice red cloud through the water onto the bottom over the chopped worm mix. That's that. Right, now it's time to introduce my chopped worm mix into the peg first. So I'll put a big tub of that, and then straight after that I'll put the chopped red maggots in as well. So I'm only fishing 5 sections of pole. So that'll be like my top kit plus a number 4 and 5 section. And what I've done, so that I'm going to be nice and accurate every time, is I'm going to use a marker, which is sort of a tree in the distance over there. And I'll know every time when I top up. Let's just drop it in. There it goes. Water's very clear today, so you can see the use of well, I'm using a dark ground bait mix as well. Right, so that's the chopped worm. And pouring in my slushy red maggot mix. This will go down in a nice red cloud. Nice and slowly, so I don't spill any of it, and just pour it straight over. There we go. Look at that, really clouding up. Nice scent that will send down to the bottom over the chopped worm mix. And like I say, I'll probably top that up after about an hour as well. Maybe flick a few maggots over the top, some dead reds over the top, and give it at least a good couple of hours. Hopefully you see a few signs of some bubbles coming up, and see if we can get ourselves a bonus eel or two for later on. That's the 2 lines all baited now.